Hey guys, it's Titanium. In this video, we're going to be doing a Half-Life tier list that includes everything in the Half-Life universe, so everything from the Half-Life franchise, the Portal franchise, the tech demos, literally everything that technically is considered inside Half-Life. I did forget about Portal Still Alive in this tier list when making it, but for anyone who would be asking in the comments, I'd put it in B. And also, last video, 7,500 views so far. That is crazy. My last biggest video had 2,000 views, and that was when I first started my channel. And that's because I got sponsored, so 7,000 views. Like, that's actually mad. Like, this could get to 10,000, which I just can't get over. And then we have 177 subscribers, and this reached 50 from this one video. So anything you guys want for the 50 subscribers special, I'm happy to do. And we're getting really close to 200 subscribers as well, so yeah, I just want to say thank you for that video, and I'll definitely be making more updates on Project 4 as time goes on. So yeah, let's get into the tier list. Okay, so the first one is Half-Life Blue Shift. So, it was made in 2005, it was an expansion to Half-Life, it was made on Gold Source. You get to play as Barney, which I thought was really cool character. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth playing, and I do think it's better than some of the other games, but I don't think it's the best, so I'm gonna put it at B. Okay, so the next one is Half-Life Opposing Force. It was made in 1999, and it was on Gold Source, and Gearbox Studios collaborated with Valve to make this, like what they did with Blue Shift. And honestly, the gunplay in this is really good, and the level design is also really good, so I think this is one of the best Half-Life games we've seen, you know, since all of them came out, I guess. So for that reason, I think it deserves an S tier. And yeah. Okay, so the next one is Half-Life Decay. So this is another extension to Half-Life, but it is a multiplayer Half-Life campaign, which I thought was really fun to play through, as we haven't really gotten much like that until Sven Co-op came out. So at the time, this probably would have been really cool, and for that reason I think it deserves a B tier. And the next we have Half-Life Deathmatch. So Half-Life Deathmatch is, it's okay. Obviously it wasn't the best Half-Life game ever. It's just kind of fun to go around with the Half-Life combat and play with your friends, but I don't think it was the best, like I said, so therefore I'll give it a D. In terms of its deathmatch kind of style, it didn't do the best at that. Okay, so the next is Half-Life Source. This is known as one of the worst remakes of all time, and that's what kind of got Black Mesa to go to its thing and make a good remake. So with everything that's gone on about this, I just have to give it an F. If you want to play Half-Life, you might as well play Half-Life. Don't play Half-Life Source. The only thing I used Half-Life Source for was the extra source assets for Gmod. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so the next is Deathmatch Classic. I think they did their servers a lot better compared to Half-Life Deathmatch. And I think that Half-Life Deathmatch was in general a better experience. But it was very similar, so this is a tricky one. I'm gonna still have to put it at C. I think they could have done a lot more to make it, you know, better than Half-Life Deathmatch. And yeah, I don't have much to say about it. So next is Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike was made in 1999, and it's always been really iconic. It was a mod to the original Half-Life, and yeah, then Valve took it and took the IP and made it one of their own, and I just think it's one of the greatest mods out there, so I think it deserves the place of A tier. So, Counter-Strike Condition Zero. So this was just more maps for Counter-Strike. It didn't do as well as Counter-Strike. I do think it was better than some of the other stuff, but honestly, it just, sorry, but it deserves an F, I think. So I didn't play it at the time of release, so I don't know what it was like back then, but my experience with it now wasn't so great. So the next is Counter-Strike Deleted Scenes. Now this pretty much did the exact same thing. Took more maps and just a bit more lore, and you know, added into the world of Counter-Strike. And yeah, there's not much more to this, so honestly it does go in an F. So the next one on this is Counter-Strike Source. So this is pretty much exactly like Half-Life Source, but they did it with Counter-Strike. All the assets and everything is in Source. I do think this is very similar to Counter-Strike, obviously, but it does add a bit more assets, but other than that, you might as well just play the other Counter-Strike. So for that reason, I think it doesn't deserve an F, but it deserves a D. These assets are quite good for Gmod, and it is used in a lot of servers. Okay, so the next one on the list is Team Fortress. This was made in 1999, and is also known as Team Fortress 1.5. And Team Fortress honestly is great fun, so much different game modes, and I think it's right up there with Counter-Strike, to be honest. Very fun to play, especially if you have friends on it as well, and yeah. Okay, the next one is Day of Defeat. So Day of Defeat is also another mod, and Valve took it and they published it, and I don't think it was as big as any of those two. At the time, yeah, it definitely was big, but nowhere near these two. So I will, this is a tough one. I want to put it in B or C, but I don't know where to put it. I'm gonna say C. This goes into C. And we might as well also get Day of Defeat Source out of the way too. So Day of Defeat Source, yeah, just Day of Defeat but on Source. I do think that the servers run a lot better in Source though, so I can respect that. So if you want to play Day of Defeat, I think Day of Defeat Source is the way to go. Plus you get extra assets. So in 2022, Day of Defeat just isn't as good as it was, so therefore I'm gonna put this one in B. My experience with Day of Defeat Source was just overall better. Okay, so Half-Life Episode 1 is the next one, and I think Half-Life 1 episode did well. I don't think it did well as Episode 2. It didn't really add anything new. It was just a bit more dark areas and a bit more of Half-Life 2, I guess. But Half-Life is all about, you know, like there's always a difference in each game, and I don't think Half-Life 1 really did that. But I respect what they did. But overall, I just don't think it was as good as it could have been, so therefore I'm going to put this in C. Okay, so next is Half-Life 2 Episode 2. So Half-Life 2 Episode 2 brings back so much memories. Everything with the woods and dog and killing the Striders, helping the rebels. I think this was a great episode and really did something different with Half-Life. And I respect that heavily. So therefore, I really do think this deserves an S. This shows what Half-Life is all about, in my opinion. Okay, so next is Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. So Half-Life 2 Deathmatch is definitely not one of the best Half-Life games, but in terms of being a deathmatch, I do think it is the best and the easiest to jump into. And I did actually spend quite a bit of time playing this. Because it is fun. I do really like the Half-Life 2 combat system, so therefore I give this a B. Okay, so the next one is Half-Life 2 Lost Coast. This was released in 2005 and is only available to the Windows members of Half-Life 2, so you get this free if you have Half-Life 2 on Windows. And this was fun. The story didn't make much sense. I don't know if it's officially in the lore and everything. But it was kind of fun, but overall, yeah, not the best. So I think, I think this should be a D. And the next one, oh boy, we have Hunt Down the Freeman. Now, nobody really talks about this game, and I think for good reason. All I can really say about this was this is a Half-Life 2 mod that went terribly. Everything was broken in it, and it was just too difficult, and it was messed up, and there's not much point in playing this. Definitely not worth the money, and yeah, so this is definitely an F. I'm gonna have to actually put it all the way here. This wasn't good at all. So the next one is Codename Gordon. This is also known as Half-Life 2D, and yeah, it's pretty much just a 2D Half-Life, and you're playing as Gordon, and yeah, you get it from putting a code into your search bar, and then it downloads the game. So it's known as also the Half-Life Secret, and yeah, it's all right. I do think it's definitely better than things like Hunt Down the Freeman, for example. So I think this could be a D. I think this is a D, because it's not exactly a full-on game. It's just like a fun mini game, I guess. Next is Half-Life: A Place in the West. It's a fan-made digital comic created by Ross Joseph Gardner and Michael Pellinter. I might have butchered those names, but it takes place after Half-Life 2 and in the 7-Hour War. So this was really fun to read. There's loads of episodes, give you different stuff, and Valve approved this, so this is officially in the lore. This is official, and yeah, this was fun to read. So if you're looking for any Half-Life comics or anything like that, this is the one to go for. A lot of fun reading this. So therefore, this is a C, as it's not an official game, but it's a comic that you can get on Steam. So yeah. And the next is the orange box version of the game. So you can get this on Xbox 360, and this comes with Half-Life 2, Portal, and Team Fortress 2. So I haven't played this, but I've heard good things, and people have said that this is their best memory of Half-Life. So yeah, I'm gonna put this, haven't played, but I'm sure if I have played it, I would have put it in the B or A section. So the next one also is Half-Life 2 Japan, or also known as Half-Life 2 Survivor. So this is a Japanese arcade game version of the game. I always thought Half-Life 2 was a very arcadey styled game, so I think this worked out well, and I thought the style was really cool. There are ports for this game, but I just haven't bothered to go and try and sort that out, I guess. But yeah, if I ever go to Japan, I will be definitely doing this, because, I mean, Half-Life 2 on an arcade machine seems cool. So yeah, I haven't done this, so yeah, I'm gonna put it, haven't played. Okay, so the next one is the final hours of Half-Life Alyx. So this shows the struggles that Valve had making a game, and yeah, the struggles they had making Half-Life Alyx even, and how everything was kind of bad at first working at Valve, and then things turned, and they realized that they want to make something big. They don't want to make small projects in different groups, and making something big is what they all want to do. And yeah, this was a great, a great digital book, I guess, to read. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's definitely up there, so I'm gonna give it a B tier. Next one is Black Mesa. So I played the definitive edition, and honestly, I love Black Mesa. Black Mesa, the combat was completely changed, but it had something that felt Half-Life-y about it, and the graphics were really good. I don't have much to say about Black Mesa apart from it was really good. I don't think it stands up to the other stuff like, Opposing Force or Half-Life 2 Episode 2. But the fact that Valve approved this is, I guess, really, really, really epic. And yeah, I'm gonna give this an A tier. Okay, so the next one is Aperture Hand Lab. So this was a tech demo for the Valve Index, and specifically the hand tracking. And yeah, this was fun to play. I didn't play with my own headset because I have an Oculus Quest 2, but this was fun. a lot of lore and hidden stuff in it, and yeah, a lot of data mining as well from it, so I'm gonna give this a C. Okay, so next one is The Lab. So this was, I guess, a Portal game that had loads of mini games in it, and yeah, you get to go in the lab, and you get to play loads of fun games. My favorite was the archery one, and yeah, I think this is a good example of a good Half-Life game. So I'm gonna put this in B, especially for VR. This was very fun at the time. And yeah. Okay, so the next one is Portal Moondust. So Portal Moondust is another tech demo for the VR. Not exactly what it was made for. I should probably look and see, but yeah, it was fun to play through, and yeah, I don't think it was as good as something like HandLab, and for that reason I'm going to put it in D. Okay, so the next one is Portal Robot Repair. This was a tech demo for the HTC Vive, which Valve worked with, and this was Valve's kind of first experience with VR, and I think they did pretty good. I think this was fun to play through, and I think it deserves a C. The next one is the Portal Steam VR Performance Test. This is a test if your PC can run Steam VR, and you just kind of watch as Atlas and Peabody do things in the lab, I guess. Yeah, not much to say about this. I do think this is one of the worst things they could have done with the Portal series. I think they could have done more to test it in terms of gameplay, but in terms of showing the performance, I think it does well, but in terms of game, it's enough. So the next one is Bridge Constructor Portal. This game is quite a fun one. If you're looking for more Portal, you should probably pick this one up. It's fun, and yeah, I want to give it a C or D because it's not the best, but it's also kind of fun, so I'm going to give it a C. Okay, Portal Reloaded was a Portal 2 mod made by Janice Brinkman, and pretty much you get 3 portals, and this third portal does something really cool. I don't want to spoil it to you guys, but it's definitely fun if you finished Portal 2 and you want something a bit more challenging. And yeah, for that reason, I don't think it's as good as these, but I think it's definitely something to check out. So I'm going to put this in B. The next one is the Portal 2 digital book. This was fun to read. It shows kind of the earlier stages of, I guess, Valve's development, and you can kind of see a lot of nuclear stuff that we haven't been able to see before with Valve. I don't think it was as interesting as the final hours of Half-Life Alyx, as you had Valve's dark period and everything. So I think this goes in C. The next one is Portal. Now, okay, Portal has such an eerie soundtrack and has some of the coolest characters and such a like color scheme that works so well with what it's trying to achieve. And I think the beta was a lot darker, and I kind of wish I got to see that. However, Portal is still, I think, one of the best Half-Life games, so this goes in S. The next is Portal 2. Portal 2 had a lot more story, and had gel, and a lot more and a lot more challenging stuff, and had co-op and the comic and the Super 8 sponsorship stuff, and yeah, Portal 2 had a lot. But honestly, I think Portal 1 sticked with a specific theme and made that throughout, and Portal 1 just has something that I don't think Portal 2 has. I think Portal 2 is a bit much, and I think it does that well, but I think Portal 1 just is better. This is a very complicated opinion, a lot of different strong opinions. A lot of people say Portal 2 is better, a lot of people say Portal 1 is better. But yeah, this is just what I think. I just think Portal 1 is better. And the next is the very new Aperture Desk Job. So this was released really recently, and this kind of shows more about Cave Johnson. And it is a tech demo for the new Steam Deck. And yeah, this was fun to play through, a lot of lore. This was very funny as well. And if you have a controller, this is worth playing, definitely. So I'm gonna give this a B. This deserves a B. The next one is Half-Life Alyx. This is the first thing I played when I got my headset. I couldn't wait, and this lived up to my expectations. This was amazing. If I'm gonna be honest, I did cry in the ending. Half-Life 3 confirmed, I guess. It may never come, but hopefully. Yeah, Half-Life Alyx is amazing. Definitely something you need to check out if you have a PC and VR. It is just the music and the shooting and the story. It does everything so well. But yet this was meant to be the beginning for Valve. This was meant to be the beginning of what they could do with VR, and they were meant to expand. This was going to be the start of something big. Like I just said, pretty much Valve was planning on making more VR titles, and they kind of just dropped VR after Half-Life Alyx. But at the same time, I love Half-Life Alyx, so this is going in S. And Half-Life 2. This is my second favourite game. Half-Life 2 was so fun to play through. It is really something else. The story is really good. The shooting has been the best since it came out. And I think after you finish Half-Life 2, you just always want to come back. It is something special, so this is obviously going in S. I'm gonna put it here, because this is my favorite Half-Life game. I respect it a lot. And then obviously we have Half-Life. Now, who can not like the original Half-Life? So much enemies, so much chaos. The final boss was insane. Definitely worth playing. Still holds up well. And yeah, no, Half-Life is just great. So, not my favorite, so I'm gonna put it here, but you know, Half-Life is just so iconic. And yeah. I think that's my tier list done, I guess. So I'm gonna put this in the link in the description so you can make your own playlist, and then you can submit it to the Discord, and yeah, we can have some more discussion. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.